Today, Bitcoin, gold, the S&P 500, and the Nasdaq all fell in unison, leaving one question: what's next? Is the bull run in the stock market the bubble that it has become? And of course, the insane DeFi bubble. Are these bull runs set to continue, or have we just seen a top of the cycle? Now, before everyone loses their mind, I'll say this: I'm buying today, but cautiously, understanding very much so that the macro perspective hangs in the balance. You've heard me say on this show time and time again that I'm looking at macro factors such as stimulus, such as the stock market, such as the value of the US dollar as critical and fundamental pieces of data to inform the next phases of my investment strategy. So we're gonna dive in, talk about what's going on from a macro perspective, and I'll let you know my strategy as to how I'm managing the next few days and weeks of this DeFi-fueled crypto bull run, and of course the critical levels that I'm looking at as a potential change of the macro perspective. If you guys are excited for this episode that I believe is packed with value, then do me a favor and destroy that like button. And we will be giving away the Ledger Nano S today. And of course, if you want to enter to win, don't be afraid to comment below. Every comment will be entered to win in next week's giveaway. So one analyst is showing here a rising channel as an inverse head and shoulders here that would top out at about $14,000 BTC, and that's if this $10,700 level holds. And as we can see, we're actually sitting pretty comfortably above that at about $10,800. So that particular piece of analysis is still in play, and it's reflecting this trend line here that's been supporting this recent run. As you can see, we don't have a ton of room to fall here before we'd violate this, and this particular analytical theory would unfortunately be out the window. However, what we do have is also a macro trend line on the total cryptocurrency market caps, which have been supported here, and essentially the critical level to watch here is about 300 billion. Currently, that gives us about $50 billion in market cap to fall before we'd violate that trend. So two different analytical views that could see us continuing this bull run and this just being a dip within the range. That's certainly right now how I'm proceeding. But remember, when the Nasdaq, the S&P 500, gold, and Bitcoin all do something in unison, I look for a bigger macro indicator. And I believe this has a lot to do with the US dollar bouncing off of multi-year trendline support. Essentially, an asset as big as the US dollar is going to bounce off its support trend lines. They don't just violate them typically. And so this is potentially a temporary bounce for the US dollar. As we know, we see very little other opportunities to buoy the economy except mass US dollar printing. So while this is a temporary bounce that's sucking the air out of the mainstream assets like the Nasdaq, S&P 500, this may be temporary as a move towards much higher inflation seems to be on the table if we are to believe the rhetoric coming out of the Federal Reserve. And of course, what I believe is of critical importance is a new round of stimulus, as that stimulus has clearly been directly buoying the economy, and we could see them hitting as early as the last week of September, potentially in October, but my eyes will be glued to the screen watching the negotiations as soon as Congress resumes session in the next week of September. And so to recap, I'll be looking at this $9,000 level as a critical area where if we start violating that to the downside, especially with no new announcement of stimulus, I could potentially see a macro change of behavior. But until then, this is just a dip, and dips during a bull run are tremendously good buying opportunities. And so let's talk about the narratives once we're still in the macro bull trend that I believe are going to be pervasive over the next few days and weeks. We can look no further than the explosion of the Tron price, up 35% and 41.5% against Ethereum, as proof that this Ethereum gas crisis is leading to people desperately seeking alternatives, even on competing networks that do not interoperate with Ethereum, such as Tron. We saw Pearl Finance, which is a YF clone on Tron, exploding up to over $4,000. A little earlier today, it was all the way above $6,000, a little above $6,300 to be precise, showing you that the energy around this DeFi ecosystem is starting to look elsewhere to continue the party. And as we've seen, the coins in the DOT ecosystem are holding incredibly strong here, with Polkadot essentially slightly above where it was yesterday, definitely holding strong against Bitcoin and Ethereum. Kusama obviously pumping extremely hard, up 50% on the week still. And then we also have Edgeware, which I said was going to have a huge bounce, and as you can see, of course it did, a 21% bounce. Like I said, the coins that have strong narratives in a macro bull run will bounce extremely hard, especially once they've been oversold, and Edgeware was a great example of that, bouncing up to an $80 million market cap. We also see Mantra DAO holding and growing like I predicted, and so it should just be no surprise to see coins like DOT, Tron, and other projects standing to benefit from an alternative to the Ethereum DeFi ecosystem, continuing to build steam as long as this bull run continues. Even Falcon Swap had a huge pop here up to 48. They did put out this little teaser, and I don't want you guys to think that this is proof of anything. Again, we still don't know how legit the project is, but here they're showing a little bit of their UI and a functional modal window. So who knows, maybe they're going to come out with it. Again, this isn't proof, but it's just a little update that people were really excited about, obviously. And if Falcon Swap hits the market, we could see a potential huge reduction in gas fees. So seeing them pump today while everything else is dumping, I think shows the current pain points and the current focal coins of the market, which are going to be all around scalability and alleviation of this gas crisis. We also see Phantom barely losing steam here, up 5% against Ethereum, and I think that's critical, again, playing into the narrative of alternative, interoperable, and scalable solutions that could bring some alleviation to the gas crisis. And of course, Acropolis, another strong part of the DOT ecosystem, with a 10% gain compared to Ethereum and a 2% gain overall in US dollar value. We also got a really nice dump here on XDAI stake. Now, this to me gets kind of juicy when you see a coin like this, which fits all the narratives and again could be a huge asset in alleviating the congestion on ETH. This thing dumping down and finding some basis support could be a phenomenal buy, as if we are to continue this macro bull trend we're in, this thing could truly rocket if it becomes one of the go-to scaling solutions. So seeing XDAI down 13% on the day, to me, could be one of the better buying opportunities. I'm personally buying this dip as I believe that we still have another leg up here. However, I'm cautiously watching the macro trends as the cryptocurrency markets, mainstream markets, gold, all of these non-US dollar markets seem to have dumped in unison. So the big question is, will we see another big brunt of money printing? Will the US dollar continue to gain strength? And if we start to breach those $9,000 levels, I believe that it will be time to start covering some positions, as the argument that the cycle of this DeFi bull run has ended might grow stronger. For now, it's a big red day with big red juicy discounts on coins that I believe could be the focal point of the next phase of this DeFi fueled bull run, which needs scalability. The congestion on Ethereum's network has clearly reached a breaking point, and we need something to alleviate the pressure. We've seen this spill over into Tron, and of course, the continuing narrative around the DOT ecosystem. I believe the DOT ecosystem stands to benefit tremendously from this if the congestion continues, which for all intensive purposes, it seems like it will. But until we get a confirmation that the macro trend is over, which we have not gotten, I'm seeing this as a great buying opportunity for the right altcoins. Obviously, I predicted that we'd go back and fill the CME gap when we started to break down below 12K. However, we seem to rebound in the mid 11,000s. It seems like that was more of a fake out, as down we went in a very abrupt move. I believe that the announcement of a big new stimulus bill could turn this whole train right around and have us rocketing back up into bubble territory again. But I definitely try not to view the world with rose-colored glasses. You want to be ready to react to changing market conditions. So I'll be looking to see if we break down below that $9,000 level. Obviously, it's okay if we go fill the gap and sort of hang out there a while and build another base of support. But if we really start to tear through those lines of support, I'll be ready to cover my position and even move into stable coins to protect some of the amazing gains that we've been able to create over the last few weeks and months. As I've said, the DeFi fueled bull market euphoria was something that we couldn't count on continuing forever. I personally hope and believe, and I'm positioning myself for another leg up, but I'm not going to be in disbelief and have my jaw drop to hit the floor and see all my profits go away if that turns out not to be true. If we are to go and fill the gap and start to build and bounce off of that, I think it would be incredibly healthy for the market. I think that would mean incredibly good things for the rest of Q4. But again, if no stimulus bill can be reached and there's no consensus in Congress and the dollar continues to strengthen, this could mean a temporary pause on the bull run we've experienced. Again, I'll be keeping you up to date each and every day, showing my strategy. So if that's exciting to you, I highly encourage you guys to subscribe and make sure you have that bell notification on so you know exactly what I'm doing, exactly when I'm doing it. I personally hope that this episode has been packed with value and that it helps encourage you to realize that the sky isn't necessarily falling yet, but you should be prepared for either the next leg up or understanding the macro signals of when the cycle, the biggest and most important factor in understanding an altcoin's value, has changed for the worse. Now, as promised, we're going to pick a random comment to give away this Ledger Nano S. Out of the last 10 videos, let's generate a number here, and we have number 9. So what we're going to do is go to our recent videos here and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Bitcoin drop target revealed. How ironic is that? Let's see what we have here and essentially grab this and pick a random comment here. 502 unique comments. Let's go ahead and pick a random winner. Hey, we have it, Mark Burns. Love your daily support and calls, bro. Yep, my pleasure, man. Let's hope to keep this party going. And of course, feel free to reach out to me. The easiest way is on Telegram. And I'll have you confirm your identity then. So if you're not Mark, don't even try it. I'll sniff you out, I promise. But congratulations to Mark. I'll be sending you a ledger. And of course, don't forget to comment under this video and you'll be entered to win on the next one. Nobody said investing in crypto would be easy. And days like this are proof of that. But I hope to keep informing you and keeping you guys ahead of the market with my analysis and my research. If you guys are excited about that, then I appreciate you guys smashing the like, subscribing, and commenting below. As usual, my name's Elio Trades. I thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon on the next episode.